All right, we shall begin now. Managerial economics class. Yesterday's class, we were discussing about the
Ma'am, can you start? You can start the class, ma'am.
Yeah. Yesterday's session, we were discussing about types of elasticity of demand, wherein point elasticity and arc elasticity. Point elasticity is what we've discussed, under which we have discussed on what is perfectly inelastic demand, what is perfectly elastic demand, how they appear. We've discussed all these curves. Now let's move on to understand what is arc elasticity of demand. Arc elasticity of demand is again an average elasticity. This is on the midpoint of the curve. And the formula which is used for arc elasticity of demand is very simple calculation. Unlike you've seen derivatives in the previous yesterday's class, I told you fundamentals of derivatives is required in order to calculate the demand values. Okay, then in this particularly, you just have to, from the given information, you just have to pick up the quantities demanded at every stage and the corresponding prices. With this information, you can just simply calculate the arc elasticity of demand. Now, if you look at on the screen, P1, Q1 are the initial prices. That is the basic price. P2, Q2 are the prices which are observed after the change in the after the change is observed in the quantity which is demanded because of the change in the prices. So from P1 and Q1, the change which is happening towards P2, Q2, the change can be either way as well. That is, it can be below P0 and Q0 also. This is given P2, Q2, so on and so forth. Now, when this numbers, when you use to plot a graph on, you will find the curve to be in the arc shape. And the point here, unlike in the previous type, it is point elasticity where it is straight line and a particular point on this straight line which divides the whole line into two segments was point. Okay, but here arc elasticity, it forms the shape of the arc. And as according to the economist, the Baumol, he defined arc elasticity as a measure of average responsiveness to price, which exhibits a demand curve over some infinite stretch of the curve. The curve stretches infinitely and it takes the shape of the arc. Now, this method is useful when one has complete information with respect to change in price. Now, you can see in this, the elements that you require in the formula is the basic initial price and quantity. What is the price and what is the quantity demanded, followed by the change in the price and the change in the quantity. From the basic price and quantity which was demanded, what is the change? Because of some changes in price and quantity, what is the difference is what arc elasticity focuses on. And these differences which are arised could be because of various determinants which we have discussed in law of demand. Okay, and the midpoint on this is considered to be the elastic. The best place, the best decision-making place is considered to be the elasticity of demand on that point. The demand here uses the basically average of two prices. We have P1Q1 and P2Q2. Likewise, it takes the average of both the prices to calculate the arc elasticity. Now, elasticity of demand, which is, in the form of arc elasticity of discussed, it is used by the managers in decision making at regular intervals to understand the impact which is happening because of these movements in the price or in the quantity or because of some other factors, which is the change is happening. When the change is happening now, given this condition, if this is the change, in case in future, if you again have any impact on this particular determinant, what would be the change? Likewise, the managerial decision making happens, wherein they try to understand the commodities which are demanded, demand and supply. How much could be demanded? How much could they be, supply in a position to supply it? So that's how the manager here is in a position to understand the demand, whether what type of demand it is, how the changes are happening, and based on this, several managerial decisions have been taken up. Okay, then there we only focusing on here price and quantity. When you are understanding law of demand, you are only focusing on price and quantity, but there are several other factors, reasons which cause which influence the elasticity of demand. The demand, whether it is growing or it is not that demanded, so popular product in the market, or whatsoever it's the condition of the product. But if it is to be analyzed, then there are so many other factors which are to be taken into consideration, right? And those factors which influence, which have impact on the elasticity of demand are nature of the good. Now, the nature of the good, basically, you can understand into three, categories. One is necessity, comfort, and luxury. Necessity is something which is required, okay, which is very, it is, without which you cannot survive, necessity. Comfort is second level set of category of products wherein you can postpone, okay, you can end up postponing it if in case you're not ready to buy it. The third category is luxury, which you can properly have planning on, backed up with complete, financial structures, etc. And followed by you can buy. So based on these three categories also, the demand per price and the quantities which are the corresponding quantity which is demanded will have impact on. Okay, next is a range of prices. Range of prices, sometimes if the price have prices are increased, like petrol prices, it is important here to understand the elasticity of demand. Now, you may cut down all your unnecessary travelings, and you may retain only use your vehicles you may use only for the requirements, necessities, maybe for going offices, for going workplaces, or otherwise. Okay, you may cut down all your vacations, etc., just because the prices of the petrols are high. Likewise, there are many products which you can categorize, and just because of the very reason the prices are high, it can have impact on it. So prices also play a very important role in the elasticity of demand. Other than the prices, sometimes you also see the products have substitutes. Like if this is not available, let's go for the another one. You can shift from one alternative to another. That also may have impact on the quantity which is being demanded. In this situation where you have lot many substitutes, the prices of a given product, if it is even if it is increasing, the demand would further go down because there are substitutes available. So people end up switching to the substitutes rather than buying it in high cost. Okay. Likewise, you can understand here that the demand is shifting from one product to another product. Now, that product particularly, which is becoming more, whose demand is growing just because of the prices of the substitutes are increased, this product's demand is growing. That again will have impact. Okay, that again becomes new subject where you can start learning about elasticity of demand for that given product, right? Next, you have commodities, how much you can spend, and that is what we learned in last class, with income levels, and how the level of income will determine how much you would like to purchase. When a person is earning 1,000, when a person is earning 4,000, when the same person is earning 10,000, how the change in consumption habits will be. And when there is a change in consumption habit, there is either lowering the demand or higher the demand. Both of them contributes to the elasticity of demand. That is what we are trying to understand, the elasticity of demand, sometimes low, sometimes high, and why, right? Next is time period. Time period is very difficult. Now, here the consumers in the long run, supposing if a product is a necessity, you want to buy it immediately. That is daily based consumption, maybe fruits, vegetables, or any other groceries that you would end up buying, like rice, wheat flour, etc., which is one of the necessity in your day-to-day life. Supposing the same person is planning to buy a flat, a car, or a building, a open plot. Now, this is something which can happen with proper planning, right? So it should take time. Okay, so the longer the period of time, the longer is the elasticity. The stretch of elasticity in demand will be high. Whereas supposing immediately, for today's consumption, you need some vegetables. Immediately you step out and go bring or requirement, and then end up buying and consuming. Like that, if you compare, based on the time aspect, if you look at the time aspect, currently, if you need that for your personal consumption, immediately you end up buying. And if it is a product which has a nature that it may go long run in proper planning and it may take time, then those kind of products will have lot many substitutes. Though in the short run you have substitutes, but you may end up buying which is comfortable to you. But for the long run, though you are very convenient with one of the product which you are deciding, but because of the availability of alternatives, substitutes available, you end up researching properly with other brands, other substitute products, so that you can make a wise decision. So likewise, you also have the variety of uses, postponement of demand. This basically all, revolve around between your immediate consumption, short-term, long-run necessities, comforts, luxuries. So all this, depends on the pattern of buying. And so is the demand depends on. In this situation, all these put together will have influence on the elasticity of demand. Okay. And next, we have types of elasticity of demand. Now, in this types, we have 4 types of elasticities. Number 1 being price elasticity, income, gross elasticity, and advertising elasticity of demand. If you look at, they are categorized into 2 concept of price elasticity, and you have types of price elasticity for each one. Now, price elasticity of demand. Here, the ratio of percentage change in quantity demanded to a change in price. Second. The ratio of percentage change in quantity demanded to a percentage change in price. So here, price elasticity is calculated considering the quantity which is demanded, not exactly the quantity, but the change in the quantity, and it is divided by proportionate change in price. Proportionate change, the price change, whatever is happening, that difference is taken into consideration for calculating the price elasticity. And price elasticity is derived by dividing the change in quantity demanded divided by change in price. Now let's look at the types of price elasticity of demand. Number 1 is elastic demand. Then is inelastic demand. Now you can see in the last class also I explained point elasticity. There are verticals and horizontal line. Now you see x-axis and y-axis. X-axis it is quantity demanded and y-axis it is price. And the demand curve here is parallel to x-axis. Demand curve here is parallel to x-axis. Here. And this elastic demand has an horizontal line. Horizontal line. This is happening when a small change in price is leading to infinite change in quantity. Do make a note. A small change in price is leading to infinite change in quantity which is demanded. It is then when you have the curve which is horizontal to the x-axis. Which is horizontal to the x-axis. Then inelastic. Now, what is inelastic? See, in this case, large change in price. The more the price is changing, it brings a change in quantity demanded, a normal quantity which is demanded. The quantity will not have much impact, but there is a large change in the price. And that is where you see here, on the x-axis, again, it is quantity. On the y-axis, it is price. Now, if you look at here, P1, and further it can be P2 also. P3 also. So the change in the price is happening here. And if you look at the quantity is same. The quantity is same. And so is the curve. So is the curve vertical line. It has a vertical line. And this is parallel to y-axis. You can see P, D, P1, D1. Further, it can go up to P2, D2, P3, D3, so on and so forth. All right. Next is relatively elastic demand. Now, this relative elastic demand is when the demand changes more than the proportionate change in price. Suppose a small change in price is leading to very big change in the quantity demanded. In that case, the graph would be like this. From P1, suppose the price is changing to P. Okay, from P1, it is changing to P. This small change, what is happening is leading to change in quantity demanded. That is, it is moving from Q to Q1. And here you can see the demand curve is DD, which shows the proportionate change. And this type of, slope of the demand is referred as relatively elastic demand, which means that a small change in the price is leading to very big change in quantity demanded. Okay, next. Relatively inelastic demand. Now, relatively inelastic demand here refers to a very less proportionate change in price as as compared to the quantity which is changing. Like, a large change in price is leading to small change in amount of amount is demanded. Now here, remember, E is less than 1. And the demand curve here is steeper. When the price is P, the quantity demanded is Q. And when the price is P1, the quantity demanded is Q1. Okay. When the price, a change in price is happening from P to P1, this is leading to change in the quantity which is demanded, that is going from Q to Q1. And this is always, the elasticity here is denoted as E, and this is less than 1. Next is unitary elastic. What is unitary elastic? See, here elasticity of demand is equals to 1. Because of this condition, we call it to be unitary. What happens in unitary? The demand is equal to the change in the price. Whatever amount of change in demand is happening is exactly equal to the change in the price. See, when the price is P, the quantity demanded is Q. Again, when the price is P1, the quantity demanded is Q1. This indicates that whatever change is happening to price, it is the corresponding changes also happening to the quantity in the same proportion. That is the reason why here the elasticity is considered as equal to 1. And this is said to be a unitary elasticity of demand. All right. Now, all these 5 are given in the form of summary. All of you, I would suggest you to go through this complete table. Perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, highly elastic, less elastic, unitary elastic. And this particular curve also at 4.9, which is given, is very simple. You can easily understand all 5 elasticity of demand at one go. All right. So next, let's move on to measurement of price elasticity. Now, this basically measures a demand by comparing percentage change in the amount which is demanded and the percentage change of the price of a commodity. Okay, now Marshall has given a formula to do with the price elasticity. And the price elasticity is the relative change in the amount demanded is relative divided by relative change in prices. Now this again is the graph which shows a percentage measure, quantity on x-axis, again price on the y-axis. For our better understanding, try to confine the quantity and the price to be plotted on x and y axis respectively, because the change may lead to confusion. All right, so here we go with the line as PQ. Now, this is a point where it is unitary, that is E is equals to 1. Anything above this is E greater than 1. Anything which is below is E less than 1. Okay. Now, with this, now this particular, calculation, that is the price elasticity calculation is also called as formula method or coefficient of price elasticity method. Okay. And the graphical measure is a linear. Yeah, this is a linear diagram, which is again more or less the same here. Where E is equals to 1, it is dividing the whole segment into 2. One the above part and one the below part. Above part, anything which is elasticity of demand is greater than 1. And when the elasticity of demand is less than 1 is below part. And the elasticity of demand at point C, that is unitary, where E is 1, is BC divided by AC. This particular curve is named, these points are named as A, B, and C. The point C, point elasticity of demand, yesterday's class we understood. All right. So this, in case if you want to know the point C value, then B to C divided by A C value. If you do, you will get point C, which is E is equals to 1. In this, the prices could be higher, and if high, it denotes above, that is E greater than 1. And if the prices are low, it comes down, and this is denoted as E is less than 1. Okay. And next, Yeah. Next method is mathematical method. Now, mathematical method, there is a formula which is given to understand and calculate the point elasticity mathematically using those expressions in formula. As we discussed last class, derivative of p by derivative of d of x by d of y, p and quantity is what we have to calculate here. Then we have total outlay method. Total outlay method is given by Alfred Marshall. And in this method, expenditure on commodities is considered, and a small change in the expenditure on commodities due to a change in price is taken as an element. This particularly is focused on, outlay method is focused on expenditure. Total outlay method is focused on expenditure. And expenditure, whatever changes in expenditure habits of a person is considered for calculating total outlay method. Now, given this, look at this table now. When the prices are 2, quantity is demanded is 9. So how much they are, one is able to spend? 2 nines, 18. When the price is 3, the quantity is demanded as 6. 3, 6, 18. Here you can see the outlay, total outlay which is calculated remains 18 only in both the cases. But the quantity, if you look at, it is been decreasing from 9 to 6. When the price, if you look at from rupees 3 to 2, when the price is falling, the quantity demanded is increasing. 9, that is. When the price is increasing, say from rupees 2 to 3, it is decreasing. So if the total expenditure either increases or decreases, there is a change in the price elasticity. Okay? There is a change in the price elasticity of demand. Now see this table. Demand schedule showing elasticity greater than unity. That is when E is equals to, when E is greater than 1. When is E greater than 1? The above part. On the line, E is equals to 1. This part is greater in the curve, okay? Now see in this schedule, the table which is given. Price is 4.5, quantity is 6. Okay, and the total outlay is 27. Now see when the price is 4, that is it is coming down from 4.5 to 4. When the price is lower, the quantity is demanded is slightly increasing. And it is 7 and 4 sevens 28. So on next, when the price is further decreasing to 3, the quantity is increasing and the outlay is 30. Now you see the effect on outlay. In the previous example, the outlay remains 18 in both the cases, but here there is a change. And this change you can see is increasing from 27 to 28, then to 30. This denotes, the elasticity is greater than unity. Unity is 1. Elasticity is greater than unity. Understood? Yeah? So when the price is falling, the total outlay is increasing. You can see the effect of price. When the price is falling, the outlay is increasing. Therefore, it is said that elasticity of demand is greater than unity. If a change in price results in fall in the spending habit, the elasticity of demand is less than unity. That is the other case where E is less than 1. And you can see here the next table, which is showing you the other case. Now you look at 4.5. 4, 3. Okay. Now see here, outlay from 18 to 17. It is decreasing from 17 to 15. The price is 4.5 to 4. It is decreasing, and 3. So there is a change in the demand. There is a change in the demand. When the price is 3, the demand is 5. And when the price is slightly higher, 4, the demand is 4, 1 by 4. This is having impact on the outlay. And this is decreasing. And this is increasing. This is the case where E is greater than 1. Unity. And this is the case where E is less than 1, which is unity again. Unity is E is equals to, is the state where E is equals to 1, unity. Okay. So this is about total outlay method. You can even look at this graph, which is shown here on the x-axis, y-axis, price, x-axis it is quantity. All right. And next concept, we have income elasticity of demand. Comparatively today, very low. The strength is only 5. Yeah, only 5 or 6. 4 only. So income elasticity also has the same types as we've discussed in price. And in income, you can see when it is greater than unity, income elasticity less than unity. Okay. We've discussed about price, right? Similarly, we have unitary, negative income elasticity, and zero income elasticity. Income elasticity of demand, if you look at, this is represented as E of EY is greater than 1. When an increase in income brings in increase in quantity demanded. If your income is increasing, the quantity demanded also will increase. This is the situation, condition. Symbolically, you can write as EY is greater than 1. When EY is less than 1, it is said that income increases, quantity demanded also increases, but less proportionately towards income, and this is low. This is depicted here below in the table where EY is less than 1. And Y here is denoting income. Unlike in the previous graphs, on the y-axis, it was price. Now here it is income, Y. Income is denoted as Y. And on the x-axis, it is same quantity demanded. All right. Next is unitary income elastic. Again, unitary income elastic represents a condition where EY is equals to 0. This happens when income brings a proportionate increase in quantity demanded, which indicates that a small change in the quantity demanded is equal to the change in the income. And negative income elasticity of demand is a condition where EY is less than 0. Where it is less than 0. This means that a condition where when your income is high, you buy it less. But when your income is low, you buy more. This is where when income increases, quantity demanded is falling. Basically, this happens with inferior goods, which have a negative, income elasticity of demand. Then we have zero income elasticity. This means that the change in income, whatever is happening, will have no impact on the quantity which is demanding. Whether you have income today 6,000, tomorrow it is 10,000, the demand in quantity remains same. There is no shift. And that is where it is called as EY is equals to 0. Okay. So income elasticity of demand, price elasticity of demand has 5 types. Unitary, above, relatively elastic, inelastic, zero, elastic, relatively elastic. Application of income elasticity of demand. Now, where is this income elasticity of demand is applied, and how is it used? Now, for various marketing strategies, the organizations use these income elasticity of demand concept in order to understand the various advertising promotional strategies based upon income to select the target groups, followed by forecasting future demand. Yes, future, how much the demand would be by understanding the level of income. Planning for firm's growth, yes, 5 years plans, 10 years plans based upon the income, elasticity of income. The sales can be estimated and based on which the future strategies all depends on. Okay, so this was all about income elasticity of demand. We learned price elasticity and income elasticity. Next, move on to cross elasticity of demand. Cross elasticity of demand, as the name indicates, as the word indicates, that it has two, products, commodities, which are related to each other. Okay, it is a situation where a product have a set of alternatives and substitutes and complements in the market. And when it depends on substitutes or complementaries, the change in the prices will have impact on the demand, which is causing. So the elasticity, when it is measured in terms of the changes happening either to price or the demand, we refer as elasticity, cross elasticity of demand. And this is used mainly in handling inter-commodity demand relations. This is again the same concept of the change in price, the ratio, change in proportionate change in the demand of one good to the change in some other good. In this cross elasticity of demand, we assume two products, X and Y. If they are substitutes, the case would differ, and if they're complementary, they would differ. Suppose in substitutes, here the example is given about Sprite and slice. The cross elasticity, if the price of slice increases, the consumers will shift to Sprite. The cross elasticity is a case considered to be positive when the demand for Sprite is increasing and the change in the price of the other product is in same direction. Now we try to measure the cross elasticity between these products. And in order to understand and analyze these substitutes, one has to understand how closely these are related. Closely here refers to how easily they can be, the consumers can shift from one product to another. When the two products are very close, we see the elasticity is very low. And the cross elasticity demand curve here will have a positive slope. You can see here, 5.19. When P1, it is Q1, and when it is P, it is Q. Now see, when there is change in price, lower, the same example, the price of the slice is decreasing from P1 to P2. The quantity is also decreasing from Q1 to Q. From Q1 to Q. And so the curve is this. And this curve is referred as positive slope. If in case, this was the case of substitutes where you can easily shift. But if in case of complementary products like car, petrol, the cross elasticity in such cases, it will be negative. If the price of car is going up, and simultaneously, in case the petrol will also fall, because here the price of the car and the demand for petrol move in the opposite directions, right? So the cross elasticity is supposed to be negative here. And for complementary goods, this is for substitute goods and this is for complementary. For substitute, it is steeper, and here for the complementary, it is negative slope. When P1, it is Q. When P, it is Q. Further, when it is P, it will be low. Okay, so this was about cross elasticity of demand. Price, income, and cross, we finished. Next, we have advertising elasticity of demand. Now, this advertising elasticity of demand is a new is an elasticity of demand which is depending on advertising and how effective the advertisement is. Based on the advertisement's effectiveness, the demand for the quantity is calculated. So the advertising elasticity of demand is measuring the change in the quantities which are demanded because of the advertisement. And here the formula is given. It is just a mathematical expression, Q1 minus Q2, A2 plus A1 divided by Q1 plus Q1, Q2 plus Q1, A2 minus A1. Now, there is an important relationship between the sales and advertisement. We all agree, right? Minimum level of sales, no advertising. If the sales are happening better because of the effectiveness of advertising, then there a point comes where the managers would definitely like to know the response and the change in the demand which is causing just because of the advertisement. They want to measure the effectiveness of the advertisement. And so is this formula used. All right, then the various factors which influence advertising and elasticity of demand is stage of product market. Sometimes the advertisement comes all in, sometimes since they are launching a new product, since then the effective advertisement comes and the measurement starts since then. But for few, over a period of time, they realize that advertisement is not making any difference. And so they revise their policies and bring in a new advertising, and that they wanted to measure. So likewise, the stage of the product plays an important role. Effect of advertising in terms of time. Yeah, within no duration, within short duration, how much duration is calculated in order to know the effectiveness of advertisement. Rivals advertisement, all these makes a manager to understand how better they are as compared to the competitors. Now, in all, if you look at the elasticity of demand is applied in various contexts, and this we learned in yesterday's session. I explained you at the government level, forecasting level, production, pricing strategies level, etc. Okay, so there are concepts here, short answers and long answers, which you all can focus on. Elasticity of demand, mainly price, income, cross. Basically, elasticity of demand is 2-point elasticity and arc elasticity, followed by you have price, income, cross, and advertising. 4. So with this unit is done, and we are at to start unit 6 in the next class. In case if you have any queries, please do feel free to ask. Otherwise, we can stop the class here. Anyone, any queries about today's class? Elasticity of demand, income, price, cross, advertising is what we learned today. All right, so with this, we end our session for today. Happy learning. Good day. Take care. Bye-bye. See you in the next class.
Thank you, madam.
Anytime, Kalyan. Learning.